Good morning. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Great Memorial Day with your family, maybe out at the lake or beach or just hanging out with your family at home and, just really paying our respects to those who have given their lives to protect our country and provide us the freedoms that we have these days. So, anyway, kicking off the week, I'm excited to be back with you guys. Looking forward to a fun packed week, but I have some hot topics today. So, one, I had a couple of people send me personal messages last week after I was covering the book Wealth Unbroken and asked some questions that I want to cover today. And one of those was we were talking very in depth about rate of return and how that is I don't want to say a lie, but how it is very misleading to a lot of people who are not super into or educated on the topics of the stock market and their average rate of return and their portfolio and all that stuff. But first, I had something happen last week and I want to ask you guys, so please chime in as you're watching this morning. So my oldest daughter works with me, and we were going through and doing some work, and of course she's at home with a new baby, and she works with me and does a lot of admin and new account stuff with me. But in addition to that, she saw this. We saw a post, and this gentleman was asking, just for some social media help. And I thought it would be a great opportunity for her to dive in and make a little bit of extra money on a platform that we use quite a bit to promote our own business and to help educate others in the financial industry. Hey, Phil, good morning. Good morning. So you saw my post on this. So chime in because I want to hear your thoughts. So I thought I might just talk about ethics and being a business owner this morning and what you guys think is appropriate or not appropriate ethically for business owners because we've all gone virtual. Well, many of us have, okay? So there's a lot of essential people out there that have been going to work, even though I think any job to me is essential if it's paying your bills and putting food on your table. So that's opinion number one is just my own, but that's how I feel about it. So, anyway, I had this gentleman, post on there that he was looking for people to help him with his social media, making posts and helping him rent some properties. Okay, great. I mean, he's on a group that I trust. And he gave his phone number and all of this stuff. So anyway, Madison has done a couple of things. She made like 3 posts. But after like the second one, she started getting notifications from Facebook Marketplace about how, they needed to make sure it was her. And so I was like, this guy, I said from the very beginning, your chances are about 50 for 50 that he is even legit. But why not try, right? You're not giving them any personal information. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, if it helps her, great. Anyway, this guy, this is where I want you guys to chime in. This guy has her make a couple of posts and then comes back and says, oh, well, something's wrong with my Cash App. So I'm not going to be able to send you your money through Cash App. So, can we use another means? And so, anyway, Madison's like, well, what exactly do you want to use? Turn my phone off. uh, to pay me. And so, of course, she's a smart cookie. So she was like, I mean, is he wanting my bank information or what? This is crazy. Anyway, so he has a problem with his Cash App all of a sudden. And so she's like, well, I don't have a problem with my Cash App. So, that's your fault. You got to figure it out. We can use Zelle, because that's certified and maintained by the banking system, and they guarantee it and they scrub it and all of that stuff. Anyway, so now I'm on a mission this guy's in groups. He's renting properties. I have a feeling that he's probably renting them and probably taking down payments and then not even coming to fruition with this stuff. He's just a scammer. And so I want to know your thoughts on this. So as a business owner, and as somebody who has been out there for a while on her own. Let me backtrack just a little bit. So I was in corporate America for 25 years. 25 years, I had somebody telling me when I could speak basically and when I couldn't, because, for human resources, it's a big deal in the corporate world. And so now that I've been out on my own, I feel like you guys want to see me, my person, right? You want to know what I stand for, and you want to know what, of course, John Wick has decided he's going to get in some stuff. You want to know who I am as a person. I mean, I'm not going to hide who I am you can't make everybody happy. So Phil says, while being a business owner, everything you do is in the public light. It's important to make sure to be honest as well as the right thing. Doing shady business is not an ethical thing at all. If you can't pay for services or be honest from the start, then you have no business doing business. It only makes things look bad for other small business owners around the world. Amen. Amen. But what do you think, Phil, about me calling him out? Because that's where people get a little bit, they're like, well, as a business owner, you probably shouldn't. I feel like I should. I feel like that's the problem as business owners. We've gotten to the point where we feel like we're going to try to make everybody happy. So we tiptoe around what is really there. And if there's a problem, it takes us who are independent and strong-minded to be out there and standing up for people who may otherwise fall trap to things like this. So for me, it's just part of who I am. I try to always be, I try to not throw a bunch of ugly words in there and call him names or anything like that. But he's a scammer. That is fact. So I don't feel like that is, a bad thing. So I want to know your guys' thoughts. I know some of you will watch later and be able to chime in for the replay, but I have gotten a lot of messages about it that, people are indifferent. So some people are like, yeah, absolutely. And some people are like, I'll probably keep that to myself. But anyway, it's probably not going to be something that I keep to myself very often because that's just who I am. And all right, so diving in, I'm excited to hear some of y'all's opinions on that. It is a rainy, rainy day down here in Charleston, South Carolina. I am making progress on unpacking, and I'm actually going to talk to a realtor in the area today. And we're going to start some communication on a new office space down here. So we are still going to be working fully functional from home, virtual, in-person meetings if somebody feels comfortable with that, networking virtually and all of those good things. But we are going to start moving forward and looking for some space. So with that being said, the question I had last week when talking about the book was the average rate of return and it being misleading. So just a quick blurb about that. When you guys throw in negative numbers into you're trying to get an average rate of return. John Wick, get him. I'm going to learn my lesson one of these days, and I'm going to put this little guy up before I go live. But when you do that, it's no longer valid. And the reason is because then you're growing your percentage off of a smaller amount of money. It's not the same amount of money. So your average rate of return is not, okay, if I get 10% gains on $10,000, great. That's 10%. And if I get 10% on a larger amount, it probably goes up. But if I drop that to 5,000, it's not really 10% if it gets me back to that original number. So if that makes sense, when you throw in a negative number, it's hard to do it without a board. I wish I had a whiteboard in here. But I don't. So when you throw in a negative number, just look it up. When you throw in a negative number, into an average rate of return, you're then getting a percentage off of a smaller amount. So it's very misleading on your average rates of return. That's why I love products that we do and asset protected strategies, because the average rate of return is an actual number. You have no negatives in that. You have nothing that is contributing or taking away from the growth of that account. So your average rate of return is a fact, is a actual number. It's not a misleading number on the percentage that you're getting. So I hope that clarified a little bit. I really should have probably thought that through and maybe had a piece of paper or board that I could write it out on. But anyway, any more questions, shoot them over to me. I'll be glad to answer them for you guys. We are starting a new book. It's called Paychecks and Playchecks. We're not going to do it quite the same way as I did the last one. We're probably going to do one little show and have several team members on, and we're all going to kind of walk through and talk about hot topics within the book so that we can kind of cover that with you a little bit. But we are going to do a couple of lives this week. I've got a couple of people that I really want to get back on the schedule to do lives with them. Last week, you guys know I was unpacking and had barely had any clothes pulled out yet, except for just my moving clothes, which was t-shirts and shorts and sweatpants and things, yoga pants and things like that, because no matter what you do to prepare for a move, it is always a hassle. So my items at 3 different places. They were going to, a couple of things went to my daughter and my son-in-law's house. A couple of things, well, a lot of things went to storage, and then a lot of things came to the new house. So in that, some of my clothes and things like that, hair products and makeup and things like that all got taken to storage and were misplaced. So anyway, needless to say, we're getting back on track this week, and I'm super happy about it. Glad you guys tuned in. I look forward to talking to you a little bit later this week. I've got some topics that you guys sent to me personally that you want to cover. A couple of them were, 529 college funding. I had somebody talking about long-term care, life insurance. So we've got some hot topics coming up this week, and I can't wait to share those with you. So I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday, and I look forward to talking to you a little bit later this week. Have a great day.